There were two major returns last night on Monday Night Raw. We had another epic fail in coal mining history and some late breaking news concerning WWE's main event for Battleground. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
Hi, I'm Chris Rogers from Rockin' Waves 11294, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Greetings YouTube, you have warped your way back into another episode of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer, and what we're going to be doing today, guys and gals, this is going to be the Monday Night Raw review for the week of June 20th, 2016. But before we get into that, I feel that it is absolutely necessary to address the big story as I'm trying to get a little itch. It's one of those hard to reach spots. But I feel it's necessary to address the breaking news that came out of WWE today concerning Roman Reigns and the fact that he violated the wellness policy and he has now been suspended for the next 30 days, which really, I gotta say this, from the consensus of the IWC, a lot of them are happy about it. A lot of them are happy about it. You know, they're saying, good, you know, we're tired of seeing Roman. Seth is much better than Roman. You know, they would rather see Seth and Dean Ambrose and everything like that. And it's really, really puzzling to me that something like this would happen. There's also the consensus of people thinking that this is a work by WWE to push the triple threat match to SummerSlam, and a lot of people think that a matchup of this magnitude, of this importance, when it pertains to the former members of the Shield and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, a lot of people feel that this matchup of this magnitude, of this importance, would be better suited on one of the big four pay-per-views, like, you know, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and with SummerSlam just a month away, or 2 months away rather, in August, a lot of people think that this would be a much better main event for SummerSlam rather than Battleground. Now, how WWE will play off of this, it remains to be seen, because I don't believe they filmed SmackDown yet, but it was reported on WWE.com that Roman Reigns has violated the wellness policy and will be suspended for the next 30 days. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how they work this. You know, do they actually come out front and say that Roman Reigns has been suspended? You know, how will they change up the storyline? It's definitely something to see what they're doing, or is this like an actual work by WWE just to push the match back to SummerSlam? You know, it's really, really up for speculation as to what exactly is going on with that. But if it really is Roman Reigns' fault and he made a mistake, and even tweeted out on his Twitter today that, you know, he made a mistake and he's owning up to it, which a lot of guys, when they do that, you know, they don't really own up to their mistakes. So, you know, my hat's off to him for actually doing that. Or if it's, you know, WWE and their work again, I gotta say good job on that. But that's pretty much all I had to say about the whole situation involving Roman Reigns. And as I get into the review, I'll kind of change things up to, you know, because at that point, last night, we had no idea that Roman Reigns would violate the wellness policy and would be suspended for the next 30 days. So I'll try to adopt the changes into the Raw review as I get to them when it pertains to Roman Reigns and the whole situation with the WWE World Heavyweight title. So with that being said, guys and gals, let's go ahead and get this review started. Now, of course, we would have to open up Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Money in the Bank, with the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Dean Ambrose. And a lot of people were wondering, how are they going to set up the triple threat? What are they going to do to actually build the angle? Because we all knew what the result was going to be last night. A setup for the triple threat. I mean, if John Cena and AJ Styles wasn't a dream match in itself, a triple threat match with all three former members of the Shield, over the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, that's a dream match in itself. So, the way they would kind of set this up, well, I kind of like the idea, and you can almost see it coming that they would be in a match, and the winner would get a chance to go to Battleground and face the champion for the title, which was made by Shane McMahon. And you could tell right off the bat, we all knew a triple threat match was coming. And when we get to the main event match of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, I'll definitely give my opinions on it. And like I said at the onset of this review, kind of adopted to the fact that Roman Reigns has been now suspended. So, now following that, my oh my, and a cherry red outfit, John Laurnitis, people power, returned to make his bid to be the new SmackDown general manager. And I even said it last week on Sports Entertainment Tonight and here on the channel, is the fact that we're going to see a lot of cameos from former general managers and people in authority in WWE make their appearances and whatnot too. And I gotta say, I like the fact that they're going for a nostalgia factor when it comes to it. But when I saw John Laurinaitis, Mr. Johnny Ace, Mr. We wish you all the luck in your future endeavors. Just hurts your voice when you do it. I gotta say, I almost face-palmed immediately when I saw that, and I was like, oh. I was like, really? People power was back? Seriously? That kind of didn't make any sense, but following that, we would have Enzo, Amore, and Big Cass taking on the Vaudevillians. Pretty straightforward tag match. Really nothing bad to say about it, except what in the blue freaking hell was Enzo Amore wearing. And that's pretty much just the sentiment I have for him every time he comes out there. He's like a clothing chameleon. Every time he's out there, he's in there something different. He's got a different hairstyle, he's got a different beard style, he's got different clothes. It's like every time you see him, it's a different look for Enzo Amore. Why? I don't know. Maybe to fit the character of as a thing on my computer just went off. Sorry about that. And I don't need to reconnect my drive. Stop doing that to me in the middle of this freaking review, computer. But like I said, now what I don't get is the renaming of the rocket launcher. The famous finishing move from Stop Doing This to Me, computer! The renaming of the rocket launcher, which was the famous signature move of the Midnight Express, to, and I kid you not, the Badaboom Shakalaka. I don't get it either. And to hear Michael Cole say it, I was like, I'll consider that the first epic fail in coal mining history for this week on Monday Night Raw. And for those of you who don't know, that was like a big thing I had on WGS Radio about 5-6 years ago on Blog Talk Radio, where I would kind of point out all of Michael Cole's faults on commentary, and trust me, he has a lot of them. So, let's get on to the next thing, which was the whole AJ Styles and the Club and John Cena segment. These guys have been delivering gold on the microphone. They've been delivering great promos, and when John Cena strikes gold on the microphone, when you get the consensus of the crowd, the majority of the crowd, that boos the crap out of him when he comes out there, suddenly start chanting his name on the after he cuts a really awesome promo. That's when you know that something is going down not only correctly, but it was executed to perfection. John Cena has, I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what Bruce Blitz has to say. I don't care what any of the haters out there have to say. This is my channel. I'm going to say whatever the F I want on here. I'm keeping my language down because my kid brothers are in here and they don't like bad language. Right, Cody and Jody? So, John Cena is amazing on the microphone. And he does such a great job. You know, he knows how to captivate the crowd. He knows how to work the audience. And you got a perfect example of that last night during their promo, where AJ had the club apologize to him for ruining the match. Then John Cena out there and the club would apologize to him, and I even said it on the Money in the Bank review. They had to do something to continue the feud between Styles and Cena, and you kind of knew that it wasn't going to be a clean finish, and they're doing just that. And people saying, oh, when Styles loses, he's going to be buried. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that whatsoever. So, does AJ Styles is a huge talent in itself. He's a really recognizable name, and to me, if they try to bury AJ Styles, that would be a huge mistake because he's such a hot commodity in the wrestling industry. So, I say if they bury him, that's a huge mistake. A huge mistake. Now, when it comes to the promo, Styles would give Cena a choice of whichever member of the club would be Karl Anderson or Luke Gallows to face in a one-on-one match. It was Karl Anderson, but you kind of knew what was coming. It was going to be another beatdown of John Cena by the club, and that's exactly what we got. You know, another beatdown of John Cena, which then, in turn, you would figure put more heat on AJ Styles and the club. But, you know, again, with the majority of the IWC, kind of like the whole situation with Roman Reigns, they hate John Cena's guts. So sometimes it could work out. Sometimes the heel can get heat for beating up the #1 babyface of the company. And then sometimes it could be backfire and actually gain more adulation from the crowd rather than heat from the crowd when it pertains to that, concerning some of the IWC's feelings about John Cena. But anyway, Baron Corbin and Zack Ryder. Do I really need to talk about this? Do I really need to talk about Baron Corbin and Zack Ryder? First off, it's a Baron Corbin match. Secondly, it's a Zack Ryder squash match. Enough said. Now, when it pertains to the WWE Women's Championship match, and this was something I discussed not only here on the channel, but on Sports Entertainment Tonight, is the fact that they had Paige go over on Charlotte in 2 non-title matches, and I was getting the inkling that possibly they were going to drop the title to Paige, and I wouldn't necessarily think that would be a bad thing, considering the fact that she's had some great runs as Divas Champion. Now, as of late, they really have been dropping the ball with Paige. You know, they're not using her as well as they did when she first got bumped up to the main roster, so I have absolutely no idea what's going on backstage when it pertains to Paige, and you know, the what I would like to call the misuse of her talent and her ability. But I could kind of understand now, you know, why they kept the title on Charlotte, considering that the boss, Sasha Banks, about freaking time, made her return last night. So apparently they kept the title on Charlotte, and they probably see a more viable feud with Charlotte and Sasha Banks for the WWE Women's Championship, since they had a solid history with each other, not only in the WWE but in NXT as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how they play off this feud and which way it goes. But we know it's going to be end up, you know, with the matchup for the WWE Women's Champion, and more than likely it's going to happen at Battleground. So that's what I'm looking forward to happening. Now, another big return last night to WWE was the Wyatt family, and there have been so many reports and so many leaked pictures of Bray Wyatt, and the fact that he's lost some weight. And I gotta say, he looks to be in great shape. We really haven't seen what he can do in the ring yet since he's been gone for so long. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to, is seeing him in a one-on-one match or any type of in-ring activity to see, how well his body will hold up. But I gotta say, from the pictures, he looks good. He looks to be in great shape. And he came back to a warm reception from the crowd. And what I found interesting was something I really didn't anticipate, is the usage of the New Day. The New Day interrupting the Wyatt family promo. And I noticed a couple of times during the whole segment, Xavier Woods would have like a tranced look on his face and would like slowly start walking to the ring. I don't understand what's that about, how they're going to play that into the feud. And I gotta say, if they put the titles on the Wyatt family, it would not necessarily be a bad thing. New Day definitely has been tag team champions, and ever since they put the titles on them, it's really amped up their gimmick, it's really amped up their characters, and they've done such an amazing job owning their New Day gimmick. Now, is it time for them to drop the titles? I don't know. Does the Wyatt family, do they need the tag team championship in their faction? That's a really hard question to answer. Because they've been in WWE for at least a couple of years now, and they've never really pushed them towards any of the championships in WWE. So, I don't know. I guess time will tell as to whether or not, how they go with this. The whole thing, with New Day Falls, I thought that was actually pretty good, and they almost had the crowd chanting with that. So, but anyway, we were supposed to have a match with Rusev and Titus O'Neil, but apparently for some reason WWE sees some stock in this feud between these two. Considering everything that happened last night, they would actually have a brawl before the matchup even gets underway. So more than likely, this is going to prolong their feud to Battleground. Why? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Now, when it pertains to the main event, with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins with the winner becoming the new #1 contender, I gotta say, it was, for what it was a good match. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, just like last night, had an amazing match. They had some great chemistry, some great spots, like they've had before. So when you kind of know the guy that you're working with and you know what you can do with the guy, it always leads to great matches. And they never disappoint. Despite how the IWC feels about Roman Reigns, they cannot deny the fact that he delivers some great matches, and he definitely did that last night with Seth Rollins. Now, with the matchup ending in a double countout, I kind of saw that coming because of the fact that they were trying to work an angle to bring them into a triple threat match for Battleground for the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which was kind of what they did. But now, with the news that came out this morning when it pertains to Roman Reigns being suspended, I'm trying to think in my head as to how they're going to work that on WWE programming. Are they going to report that Roman Reigns has been injured and he won't be back in time? How exactly are they going to work this angle? How are they going to actually report that Roman Reigns violated the wellness policy on WWE programming? Are they going to actually insert that into the storyline? And if they do insert that into the storyline, would that mean that it's part of a work by WWE? Those are a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I don't think that they can be answered until next week on Monday Night Raw, because I seriously doubt that they're going to address anything on SmackDown, with SmackDown not being the flagship show. I'm not saying SmackDown is a bad show for obvious reasons, because I love listening to Mauro Ranallo on commentary, but they never really do any storyline changes on SmackDown. They primarily do their storyline changes on the flagship show, which is Monday Night Raw. Now, will that dynamic change when the brand split happens? Oh, hell yeah. because each show will have its own separate storyline. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that works out and how that pans out July 19th. But that's in July. And again, like I said, I really want to see, how they work this. Will they actually report on WWE programming? I'll tell you what, if they do it on SmackDown, I will be surprised. Definitely will be surprised if they actually do that. But anyway, overall score on Monday Night Raw this week is going to get a 3.5 out of 5. It was a very decent Raw, with the main event of Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns getting best match of the night. Like I said, whenever they work together, it's always a great match, and it's always entertaining, and always belongs in the main event spot, and they definitely did that. They really finished off the show on a strong note. And before we go any further, I got to say, worst segment of the night belongs to Michael Cole, and another truly epic fail in coal mining history. Michael Cole, when you are a commentator, and I'm speaking as a commentator with 7.5 to 8 years experience doing it, myself on the independents, you are supposed to know your moveset. You are supposed to know your signature name. So how in the blue heck do you call the Dirty Deeds the pedigree? And if it's the person in the gorilla's position that told you to say pedigree for Dean Ambrose, then what in the hell they're smoking, and can I have a hit? Because how in the hell do you pull out pedigree for Dean Ambrose when that's not even in his moveset? It kind of makes me embarrassed to almost be a commentator, let alone a guy who follows WWE. When you have someone who's supposed to be experienced in the field as Michael Cole just screw up so many times the way he does. And again, it leaves me wondering, how in the hell is he in the #1 spot as commentator for WWE when he screws up on a constant basis? I just don't understand it. Maybe one of you guys out there can tell me that. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure to put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. WGS-TV is on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You guys can ask me questions. Links will be provided in the description box below. Don't forget, I'm going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time with Sports Entertainment Tonight with Nick Fuqua and Mark Traha. Maybe either one of those guys can kind of enlighten me as to not only the situation with Roman Reigns, but the headache that is Michael Cole on commentary. I want to hear what they definitely have to say. And remember, that's going to be live tonight on WGS-TV at 8 p.m. Central Time. You guys can call in, or you can actually sit in the chat room, and we'll definitely talk to you guys in the chat room tonight on Sports Entertainment Tonight. So be sure you look for that as well. And don't forget WGS-TV, like I said, will on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, I did that. I should write down my little notes as to how to close out. I should know how to do that by now. And oh yes, I'll have a couple of videos in the annotations at the end of this video for you guys to check out as well. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys. Oh, like a fist punch. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Look out below!
Coach they did they? Oh my goodness. I don't know how you were able to resist getting your hands all over them that whole time. No!